This presentation is designed to help Windows 10 users to organize their files. If you're new to computing, you might be frustrated when you try to find a document or a picture file. If you simply save a file, it may or may not end up in a place where you can find it again. LibreOffice remembers the last place files were saved, and this might not be the place where you want your files to end up. After you've been working on a number of different documents, you'll want to back up your files somewhere. This presentation will show how to manage your files. In this example, we're going to use File Explorer. And a quick way to open the File Explorer window is to hold the Windows key down on the keyboard and press the letter E. This opens the File Explorer window. I'm going to select by left-clicking on this PC. Then you'll see the devices that are available in this computer. You can see that there's a hard drive named C. There's a DVD drive named E. There's a hard drive named HP4TBA, or F is the letter assigned. There's a hard drive G, which has been named HP4TB-B, and there's a USB drive named H. Under this PC, you'll see a list of standard locations that are identified with the particular user that's currently logged in. These locations, by the way, are duplicated on drive C. If I open drive C and I select Users, and then I select the current user, you'll see the same folders and the same areas that are found under this PC. The Windows 10 File Explorer uses ribbon menus. If I would select drive C, notice that there are several tabs here. On the right side, I can select this to expand the ribbon menu. And then you can see all the tools that are available in each one of these tabs. In the File menu, we have a bunch of tools. In the Home menu, we have tools like Copy, Paste, Select. In the Share menu, jump to the Email program, send selected items to an email program. You can also burn selected files to a recordable disk. What we're going to focus on for a bit is the View tab. And the View tab has a number of options. We can turn a navigation pane on and off. There's also a preview pane and a details pane available. We'll pass over that for now and let's concentrate on the View options. We can view things as extra large icons, as small icons, as tiles, as content, as a list, as large icons, medium icons, or as details. Over here there are a couple of tools that we can toggle on or off. For example, there are item checkboxes that can make selecting multiple items easier, and there are file name extensions, which show or hide the set of characters added to the end of files that identifies the type of file or format of the file. And I like to keep this on so that I know what application will open what files on my list. I've jumped ahead a step and I've opened up or expanded my Drive F list, and then I've expanded this folder named Tutorials, and then I've expanded the folder named Tutorials 2020, and here I've expanded the folder named Word Processing for Seniors, V7, copy, and if I select that, the list of all the files and folders in that folder is displayed. You heard that right. We can have folders inside of folders that are inside of folders that are inside of folders that are in a hard drive. And the path to our current location is shown here on this line. It shows that I'm in a folder named Word Processing for Seniors, V7 copy, and that's in a folder named Tutorials 2020, which is in a folder named Tutorials, which is on this hard drive, which is in this PC. And you should also notice that I'm displaying the contents with details, as opposed to medium icons or large icons. It's very handy to display the details sometimes, because you can see not only the names of things, you can see the date when they're modified, as well as the type and size. You can actually sort things by selecting the column headers in the details area. If I select name, it organizes them in reverse order. If I select it again, it'll organize them again in ascending order. I can also organize them by date modified, either from new to old or from old to new. And it's possible to organize files by type as well. The other thing about the details display is if I put the cursor right on the line in between those columns, I can actually drag it and enlarge the column for any particular area, just by dragging that back and forth. One of the important things to learn about Windows is the use of the right mouse button. Typically, the right mouse button will open a context menu. For example, if I right-click on this file, the context menu gives me a number of options. I can open the file with the default application for that kind of file. I can also choose to open it with some other application. But the important thing to remember here is copy and paste. Just as an example, I'm going to copy that file, and then I'm going to go in the File Explorer to this USB drive. Right now, when I select that, you'll see that this folder, the USB drive, is empty. If I right-click, I can choose Paste, and now I've made a copy of that file on my flash drive. Let me do that once more. Let's go back up here and look at some more files. Let me look at some general graphics files. Right now, those files are displayed as large icons. Let me change that to details, and notice that I have the item checkboxes option on. So what I can do is I can click on one or more of these checkboxes, and now I've selected 4 different files. Now when I right click on any one of those and open up the context menu, I will be copying all the selected files, left click, and then I can go back to my flash drive, right click and say paste, and now I'll click away to deselect. Now you see that I've made copies of 4 files at the same time. There are other ways to select. You can use the checkboxes, or you can select one file, hold the shift key down, select another one, and select everything from the first to the last. Same as selecting all these checkboxes. So using the context menu and using copy and paste, you can back up copies of your files from one drive to another drive. And with a flash drive, this makes it very easy to copy files onto a flash drive and use SneakerNet. That is, you take the flash drive and wearing your sneakers, you run off to some other computer, and then you can paste those files or move those files into a completely different drive on a completely different computer. Let's look at another trick using the context menu. I'm going to right click on this comp cartoon file, and in the context menu I'm going to say rename, and you notice that part of that file name, excluding the extension, is highlighted. That means I can just start typing and replace the selection without changing the 3-letter extension. And then when I press the enter key, you'll see that I've renamed that file. Now you want to be careful when you're renaming files. If I rename that file and get rid of the 3-letter extension, the system will no longer know what kind of file that is, and the system will not know what application to use to open that file. By the way, the rename also works on the drive names. For example, this flash drive is named USB drive. That's not very informative. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to rename it, and I think I'll call it My Drive 7, for lack of anything better. Enter, and you now see that what used to be a not very descriptive generic name, I can customize the name of the drives. By the way, just another selection method. You saw that I could select one, hold the shift key down, and select a whole list. I could select one or another with the check boxes. However, if the check boxes are not turned on, I can also hold the control key down to select non-connected file names, or I can hold the control key down and press the letter A or all, and that has selected all the file names in that folder, and I could copy all of them very quickly from one drive to another by using the Control A selection trick. If I'm doing a lot of pasting from one drive to another, there's another Windows trick that's very useful. I have this File Explorer window open. I'm going to hold the window key down, and I'm going to press the left arrow key, and that will force that window to occupy the left half of the screen. Then I'm going to do Windows E, open another File Explorer window, do Windows right arrow, and now I have two File Explorer windows open, and one of them I can have open to my flash drive, and the other one I can have open to one of the hard drives, and that makes it a lot easier to copy and paste from one place to the other. So if you have a lot of work to do, copying and pasting to do, you may want to use the split screen trick with two different File Explorer windows open at the same time. And the copy and paste tricks work the same with external hard drives as they do with flash drives or any other drives. And I highly recommend that you invest in an external hard drive. For less than $100 these days, you can get a high capacity external hard drive that will plug into one of your USB ports. And I recommend that you do that, and that you copy and paste all of your important document files onto an external hard drive, and then keep that external hard drive in a safe place, maybe someplace different from where your computer is. If you don't do this, I predict that someday in the future you're going to end up with a big blue bruise on your forehead because you will have not backed up your files recently, and you'll have a major crash on one of your hard drives, and you'll smack your forehead and say, "Oh, I know that I should have backed those up on an external hard drive, or at least on a flash drive."